Hello, welcome to Artistically Declined. I'm Ian Roten, and I'm joined today by Russell, not quite Tomska, not quite Tobuscus Stroud.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah. You wanted to open the show up sometime with intro of darkness, then redness, then whiteness.
That is
Didn't
not
you?
true. Absolutely not.
Didn't you think that was the coolest shit back in the day?
I did, but we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, yeah, sure. All right, so today I think we're going to be drawing our childhood video games.
Mm-hmm.
Russell's going to be drawing. I'm going to try to no scope these.
Okay.
Mega Man, that's the free space.
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid, and the Guy game.
The Guy game.
Yeah.
Please elaborate what the Guy game is.
It was a game about a guy who... It was like a TV show in the 90s, and there was a game made of it, but it was basically like a trivia game on the beach with a bunch of chicks in bikinis, and if you got the question right, then they would take their top off or something. But like it was censored, so there was not really a point to it. The game was already like a neutered down version of a dumb TV show. But then there was a reason that the thing had to get pulled, which is that one of the girls that they recorded for the competition in it was actually underage. So the game featured a topless underage young lady, even though the nips were censored. So it had to be pulled pretty goddamn fast.
Well, I can tell you right now, you're entirely wrong, actually.
Cool.
I actually felt that Mega Man and Metal Gear would be a bit too obvious. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to kind of go for some other stuff I don't talk about nearly as much, but I love equally. So I'm actually going to be drawing Heather Mason from Silent Hill 3.
Interesting. I'm not familiar with that character.
I love her. She's great. Silent Hill 3 is a wonderful game. It's not quite as iconic as 2. However, I love it all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will be drawing Leon S. Kennedy as he appears in Resident Evil 4, because that's the greatest game ever made.
All right.
And then lastly, just to mix it up, because I'm probably going to be drawing these in a very lame anime style, so to mix it up, I'm going to be drawing Rayman.
Rayman, okay, interesting.
So
I only first knew him from the Rabbids games, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yes, and sadly, sadly the Rabbids games are the ones I remember most clearly, just because it's been a long time since I played the original platformers. Mm-hmm. However, Rayman has always been a design that I was fascinated by. I've never been particularly into drawing super unorthodox and cartoony stuff like him, but I always did admire it and love it.
Yeah, he does have a very distinct visual style, and it's great for a mascot.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. It's a shame that he's just not as big as he could be.
All right, interesting. So we got a Resident Evil, a what was the
Silent Hill?
Silent Hill. That's it. I always get those two mixed up whenever I'm talking about both of them. Mm-hmm. And a Rayman, as the kids call him.
Yeah.
My things I'm going to be drawing today, which I'm not doing a super great job of, are Guybrush Threepwood from the Monkey Island adventure game series.
Okay.
And then Sora from the Kingdom Hearts franchise. And finally, actually, I'm not sure. There were two I was deliberating over. Should I do Pajama Sam from the Pajama Sam adventure game franchise, or should I do George Stobart from the Broken Sword series?
Let's go with Pajama Sam. I think that'd be nice to see.
All right. Yeah. Oh, okay. So full disclosure, not very good at video games as a kid. So the adventure game series were kind of a, there's not really a way you can be bad at those other than just not understanding what the hell's going on. We actually talked about that a little kind of recently. But you just essentially have to figure out how the logic of the games work to figure out how to play essentially all of them. Not in a lame once you played one, you played all of them, but you start to learn how developers like brains work, and how like there's kind of like two branches of old adventure games. There were like LucasArts ones, and there were Sierra ones. The Sierra ones had a certain logic that involved like a lot of trial and error, like kind of like that old D&D like dungeon, the Tomb of Horrors or whatever, where it's essentially just like filled with death traps. It's just trial and error.
It really likes to make you feel stupid when you make a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Like they point and laugh at you.
Yeah.
When you screw up, which I personally I was never a big fan of. And then there's the LucasArts camp, which is like the more kind of absurdist, like, oh, you have to use this chicken with a pulley to get to Meat Shack's cabin. And when you're at Meat Shack's cabin, then you have to fight the parrot, which he's scared of because it ate his hand when he was younger. And then he'll do the thing for you so that you can go become a real pirate. And like it's just weird pseudo logic that like is bizarre until you get to know it. And that's something I actually really come to like. But the problem is like I've got every adventure game I played as a kid like memorized like the back of my hand. My Guybrush Threepwood here, Mighty Pirate, is kind of looking more like a Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. Guybrush Threepwood is like my fucking favorite adventure game character. Or not even adventure game. Guybrush Threepwood's my favorite video game character of all time. Yeah, he's just such an amusing guy. Like he's got like the dumbass role filled, but like he's also like he fills both the dumbass role in his own game and like the smartass role in like a really good way, and not like he's constantly like bumbling. Like he does dumb shit to get into dumb situations. Like essentially the plot of the games is we don't actually know his origin. He just wants to become a pirate, and then he meets the governor of the island, Elaine Marley, who gets kidnapped by the evil zombie pirate LeChuck, and he has to go rescue her by going to the eponymous Monkey Island. He's just a very endearing character. Like he's a smart idiot.
He's charming.
Yeah.
There's like a sense of modesty or realness, right? Like it's a situation where like he's not like a super cool character.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like a relatively regular guy, admittedly by the standards of like a somewhat goofy world, as I've been able to gather. And like that's charming in a way. It's kind of like it makes it immersive in that sense.
Yeah. So like in the third game, which is my personal favorite, a lot of people actually. Okay, I'm not going to tangent too hard here, but it's my personal favorite, even though it's the main creator of the game only directed the first two. And then the last two, actually technically there were the last three. The others were directed by other people, so everyone's like, when's there going to be the real Monkey 3? And the answer to that is whenever Disney gives up the rights to something, which is going to be never. Right. But like I genuinely think Monkey 3 is better than Monkey 1 and 2 put together. But that's probably a bit of a hot take, but
I'm sure everyone in the Monkey Island fandom will absolutely go angry. Ape shit, really.
Go ape shit, exactly, yeah. But anyway, premise of Monkey 3 is that he is a prisoner on LeChuck's ship. LeChuck also wants to marry Elaine Marley. So he's being held captive on LeChuck's ship. And he manages to blow it up from the inside and sink it, and then escape from the bottom of the ocean. And when he gets up to shore, he proposes to Elaine with a diamond ring that he found on LeChuck's ship, and she accepts. But then this other character walks up and he's like, "Oh, congratulations, but that looks like that ghastly voodoo ring that was on LeChuck's ship." And it turns Elaine to gold. So, like, he does the hero thing, but then he fucks up and has to uncurse his girlfriend after that.
Yeah, I really do appreciate, like, that whimsical, goofy nature of storytelling and world building, for sure. But like I've never been a big point and click adventure type of guy myself.
Oh, it's the best.
I do have experience with like King's Quest and Space Quest, not so much like Leisure Suit Larry. Obviously, those are the Sierra games that you were talking about before. But that's about it. And even then, those are only just stuff I've watched.
I love me some Leisure Suit Larry because it's like the most LucasArts feeling of all the Sierra games.
Okay.
I like adventure games, not like due to the simplicity. I felt like they, as opposed to a lot of other styles of games like a Crash Bandicoot or even like a Kingdom Hearts, there's not, you can run around in these 3D environments and stuff like that, but you can't actually like walk around in them. Like you can walk around in the world of Monkey Island and like talk to people and interact with everything. Pajama Sam, a game that I'll be drawing later, you can click on literally everything, and they have crazy little animations. And even though like I never was very entertained by that as a kid, like I loved the fact that I could do it. And when I found ones that I did like, I would just like click on them endlessly whenever I went past them. So like just the ability to completely immerse yourself in like the really like well written and well detailed worlds, because like you have to have something written for like every interesting thing you could click on, and just like stuff like that. I really adore being able to interact with all that stuff. All right, I've rambled on a bit enough for now. I will talk about it more later, I'm sure, but why don't you tell me a bit about your lady, I believe is the first one you're drawing.
Oh yeah, I'm multitasking a little bit, but I did start with Cheryl.
You've just got Solitaire pulled up.
No, I meant I'm going back and forth between her and Leon. But no, so Shether.
Oh yeah?
Let me start
Tell me
that
about
over.
Shether.
Let me start that over. So Heather / Cheryl Mason. That's admittedly a bit of a spoiler, but only if you know the context of the Silent Hill lore.
So I'm fine.
So yeah, so it's fine. I've always really liked the character, especially in relation to the plot of Silent Hill 3. It kind of continues off of what happens in Silent Hill 1. I don't know how much I can actually say without it being spoilers, but it is like an over a decade-old game, so I don't know if that really matters.
People can just skip forward in the video if they don't want to hear.
Fair enough, but no, in Silent Hill 1, the premise is basically you are trying to find your daughter after a horrible car crash. And long story short, like there are multiple endings, if I recall, that you can get, but long story short
the dog. I know the dog.
No, that's in Silent Hill 2.
Okay, well, fuck me then.
But long story short, though, is that one of the main endings, and it's the canon one, is that you end up losing your daughter. Like, you're not able to save her, but you do technically get her back, but it's not quite her. But if I remember correctly, the name of the original daughter is Heather, but the girl you get is... Sorry, what?
Nothing.
Okay. But the original daughter's name is Heather, but you get Cheryl back, and Cheryl was the daughter of a kooky lady in Silent Hill. But Cheryl has Heather's spirit, in a way. It's unclear. But anyways, Silent Hill 3 is you play as that child who came back, who has been raised, and now she's around like 18, 16 or so. And now she's going through Silent Hill herself, because like there's a whole... conspiracy, maybe not a conspiracy, but like there's a cult who's trying to use her to summon God and bring about the end of the world.
Cool.
You know, doesn't like go crazy out of nowhere or anything, but yeah, I've always just really loved the themes of Silent Hill. In Silent Hill 2, it handles a lot of like sexuality in terms with James Sunderland, the protagonist of that game. In Silent Hill 3, it does that as well, but through a different lens. Where in Silent Hill 2, James is guilty about feeling sexual desires for like nurses who are taking care of his sick wife. In Silent Hill 3, it's much more of like a coming of age type of theme of like this young girl having to like come to terms with that sort of thing. But that's kind of the stuff that always fascinated me. I've always just been like a sucker for like those very grungy horror aesthetic. If that makes sense. And that's kind of why I also like Resident Evil, but Resident Evil 4 especially. I'm a huge fan of that shit.
Not to go besmirching anybody, but so the guy that created the Monkey Island series, really good game designer. Did a number of others, like Full Throttle was a biker one that was really good. But he came out with one that I was not really a fan of recently. It was called Thimbleweed Park, and it was a very interesting setup, and not a very good payoff in my opinion. It's like a grand like mystery in a creepy town with a bunch of weirdo inhabitants. There's like a plumbing company called Pigeon Brothers Repair Company, and it's like two girls, because their dads were the ones that came up with it, and they're just like freaks that wear pigeon costumes and go around town talking about the signals and like trying to trace some mysterious like signals and brushing you off whenever you ask about them. There's this creepy, like, the sheriff, the like mortician, and there's a third one, but they're like, oh, like the hotel manager. They're all identical, and they all have like this stupid weird catchphrase that's like really creepy that they say at the end of their things, and if you try to point it out to them that they all are like identical, they like brush you off really weirdly. So it sets up a really creepy mystery. You control 4 characters over the course of it. Like, there's an FBI guy, a CIA lady, a disfigured circus clown, and the daughter of a deceased pillow magnate. And they all have their own stories, and they all start converging. And like the two government agents actually like reveal to the player that they aren't really who they say they are. They're not actually working for those branches of the government, and they have their own purposes for being there. So it starts out like really cool. It's got the creepiest aura and aesthetic to it. So it has like this perfect storm of stuff. But then the mystery of the overall game, spoilers here, but it's that the spoiler of the entire mystery of the game and the mystery of the town is that everybody's in a video game and that you're playing the video game.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I hate that so much. It's like, dude, that's not a hot take. Like, I know that with any mystery, the setup and the build up and all of the pieces coming together are going to be a lot more interesting than any conclusion could ever be written. But like, that is such a generic cop-out ending. It just made me feel so disappointed.
Yeah, you're right. There's been like this weird trend, maybe not so much a trend because it's not that common, but I've seen a lot of like indie horror games that like the plot twist is like it gets meta about like you gotta delete the game files or stuff like that. There are games like obviously like Doki Doki when it was popular. I think that was cool because it already has like the benefit of coming across as a normal visual novel then turning into a horror game. But like horror games that are just horror games from the get-go, and they have like these really cool plots and stories, and like you were talking about how there's like a cool mystery going on here and you want to figure out what it is, but it's such a cop-out when it is like, oh, this is just a game, and it's like the same energy as like it's just a dream.
Yeah,
or was it
exactly
kind of thing. And it's just it feels gross, and like it feels like
it's like you didn't blow my mind, you just you Shyamalan'd it essentially
a bit. Yeah, exactly, because it's like, oh, I guess that's interesting, like, oh man, but it's such a specific, that's what it is, it's such a specific like twist, quote unquote, and because it's overused already and super common, it just doesn't matter. It's just not impressive whatsoever.
I've always found it interesting when I meet somebody that, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna draw Raxus. When I meet somebody that has like an entire story and like canon that they've been developing for years, because I've never been able to exactly have that same sort of interest in one continuous narrative. I kind of like thinking up I like thinking up individual interesting stories, and like I come up with good setups and conclusions, but I don't really care about a lot of the stuff in between. So it kind of blows me away, like people who do, and that might seem a bit weird, but like I don't know, it's not something really feel I can grasp the concept of.
I understand that, yeah. I mean, it's not for everybody. It is a pain in the ass, and it takes a long time. For sure. But, I don't know. I just personally find myself, I have more fun drawing original designs. Not necessarily my own creation, but just like, I like to see stuff that's new, really. I do like to draw characters that I am familiar with from, like, established IPs every now and then. But that's not right.
I typically do actually draw more like pre-established characters because it's something I can like look at and study and learn more and more details of. Like every time I draw it, it just feels a lot more interesting to me. I don't know. Like, not to say I don't draw original things.
No, yeah.
But yeah.
I also I'm enamored by the concept of making my own designs is the thing. The process of character design, I've gotten a lot better over the years, and like I've become to understand it more and more. But like the process behind it is so fascinating to me. It feels like a puzzle you got to do, right? Because you got to figure out, okay, this is the personality and type of character I want. How can I visualize that through what they wear, how like what kind of like body type they have, stuff like that, what their hair color or even hairstyle would be. It's just always so fun. It's like really making the character shine through your own vision. Because like there are a lot of things that subliminally give us an impression of a character even if we don't realize it.
Yeah.
But
like Chaz from Rugrats.
Yeah, Chaz from... Which one was Chaz?
Chucky, it's me, your father.
It was Chucky's dad?
Yeah.
He was a cool guy, right?
Chaz Finster.
Yeah, he's cool.
No, he kind of looked like he would...
No, not like... I'm sure he wasn't like...
a little funny.
I'm sure he wasn't like a rad dude, but he was a cool guy. He was a good dad.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with that.
I'm not talking like wearing sunglasses, extreme, eating Butterfinger, or anything like that.
I mean, I wouldn't leave my kids in his care or anything, but...
Well, I feel like that's a very presumptuous...
I would try to talk to him at the old Chicago after, like, a group thing. You know, if we were both kind of situated toward the end of the table, and you know, he's sitting there, like, picking bogeys with his knife and like, flinging them at other tables, I'd try to, like... ask him what he does for a job, and he'll just like look at me and drool peas straight onto his plate, and then I'll give up on that. But you know,
this sounds like a very specific situation that you've been in.
No, I just came up with something. You shouldn't be so gullible.
Well, I mean, it's not... I don't like you.
I was gonna try to bully you a lot less during this episode, but it seems like that's kind of out the window.
Yeah, you just couldn't fight the urge. It doesn't help that I leave myself wide open sometimes either.
I'm gonna resist it.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Satan puts temptations in front of me, but I say, bitch, please, and I turn him away.
I don't believe you. I don't believe that you do that.
No, I really don't.
Yeah, no, not in the slightest.
Because that would mean impulse control. Roxas, buddy, you got such a tiny face.
Oh yeah, you just kind of, randomly decided on Roxas instead of Sora, huh?
Sora's not as interesting looking as Roxas. Roxas has the perfect Final Fantasy design.
Yeah, just the other day you were just rambling about how much you love Roxas's design.
It's because it's so good.
Yeah, and then you even specifically said that it's so good that you would lick Roxas, and I don't understand what you mean by that still.
No, I would lick Roxas's design.
That's still...
If I saw a little boy walking around on the street that looked like Roxas, I'd be like, hey, that kid looks like Roxas. I hope he doesn't grow up to be an emo bitch. But I wouldn't go lick him.
I don't know. It still seems weird to say. I'm just going to throw that out there.
No.
You elaborate?
Huh?
Elaborate?
On what?
How's it not weird to say?
Look, it's just, you know, when you're talking about a small boy's design to a bunch of friends, you know, you can say certain things like, I would lick that young boy's design. Without having it have the same creepy connotation as saying that you would lick a small boy.
I think it's still pretty up there, buddy.
I have no interest in licking small boys.
Okay.
I do have an interest in licking good designs and good work.
But what do you mean licking a design or work? Like, would you like print out a picture of Roxas, like showing off his like outfit and all that, and then lick that? Is that what you mean?
Is the ink non-toxic?
I don't know. I didn't check when I was stopped by Ross.
Well, then I probably won't. Wait, like the Dress for Less place? They do printing?
I have no idea. I just said a random store. I don't know what they sell.
Jesus Christ. All right. Are you still? What are you drawing? Are you still drawing the same chick?
I've moved on to finishing up Leon now.
Keon.
I almost said Keon.
Russell.
Yeah,
it's not Leon. It's wait, no, it's not Squall. It's Leon. Fuck, I messed up my own joke.
Good job.
It's a Kingdom Hearts bit. They changed Squall from Final Fantasy
8.
Final Fantasy 8. Yes, that's the one I was gonna say.
Yeah, I saved you. Don't worry.
They changed his name from Squall to Leon for no reason.
Well, I mean, his last name's Leonhardt, right?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, Squall Leonhardt.
Okay, well then that's probably but like it still doesn't. I don't think explain why. I think like they lived at this one place that the Heartless came and destroyed, and so then they had to leave their home. So I think his explanation is that like it's to stay disguised, but that still doesn't make any sense because nobody's after them.
Okay.
They just fled the destruction of their homeworld.
But what if someone's after them?
Well, it doesn't matter because they dropped all of the Final Fantasy characters' plots in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, I don't care about Kingdom Hearts, but like, come on.
Okay, just in case, I should probably give a quick plot synopsis. Like, you know, no, like a quick one, super quick.
There is no such
5 minutes.
thing as a quick summary of Kingdom Hearts plot.
Quick Rick and Morty adventure, in and out, 5 minutes.
All right, 5 minutes. You're on the clock right now.
Okay,
5
so
minutes.
It started with Birth by it's fuck Birth by Sleep. So it started with a young boy on an island with his friends, and he gets a key, and darkness claims his island, and he ends up on another world. And in this world, he meets Goofy and the other one, and they go on various adventures to all the Disney worlds. And then there's he fights little shadow beings called Heartless that are the hearts taken from people by the darkness. And it's weird because they are the hearts of people taken by the darkness, even though they're called the Heartless. That's fine though. It's fine. We're moving on.
Okay. Kingdom
Hearts 2. Sora got turned into a Heartless in the first game, so he gets a Nobody, which is the body of somebody that has been lost to the darkness. So that creates his Nobody Roxas, and there's an organization of Nobodies who want to forge the eponymous, that's the second time I've used that, Kingdom Hearts, by their enigmatic ruler who says that it'll let them go back to being real people, even though it's a lie, and he's just using it to try to forge the Keyblade, not K-A-Y like every other thing in the series, the X, it's spelled with an X, which is like an ancient letter for the sound key.
Yes.
And it's very confusing, and I'm sure the voice actors wanted to kill themselves every time they looked at the script. But, yeah.
Yeah?
So they fight. And then they talk about the light and the dark. And then there's a dumb bitch named Kairi that ruins the story.
Okay, so what does this have to do with Squall, Leon, Leonhardt?
Oh, there's Final Fantasy characters too, along with Disney characters, and they lie to you and pretend that they do something. Okay, Russell, what do you think of Cloud's Kingdom Hearts clothing design?
I absolutely detest it.
You detest it?
I hate it so much.
I love it.
I don't know why you do. Hold on, pull up a picture for Ian in the future. Pull up a picture.
I was gonna. Don't worry. Ian in the future is on this shit like white on rice. Yeah. So negatives. He's got a really dumb looking demon claw.
Yeah. Dumb demon claw, dumb single wing, and then why is the Buster Sword like wrapped in bandages?
I don't know, but I thought that was actually super cool when I was a kid, and maybe because there was a Naruto character who also had a very large Buster Sword-like sword, wrapped in bandages. So I was
There
just like,
is.
oh, this is just like a cool anime thing, and I guess it is. But
I don't understand it. I'm sure
yeah,
there's a
it's
cultural thing behind it, maybe.
maybe
But like the only thing I really like is like the cool red scarf.
yeah, the red scarf is really rad. I think the demon claw's dumb. I still have a bit of a holdover of like of liking the dumb bandage sword, even though if I saw that on a character nowadays, I would think it was absolutely stupid.
Yeah, it's very dumb.
Yeah. I like his design though. It's like he actually is like a refugee from. You know, they never actually say if he's from the same world as all the other Final Fantasy characters. I assume he must be.
What do you mean?
But like so they all of the Final Fantasy characters are generally from this world called Radiant Garden, and then Radiant Garden, like I said, gets bitch slapped by the darkness, and so they have to go to another town. But it's like there's some Final Fantasy characters in other places like Twilight Town and others.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's actually from the same planet as all the other ones.
Okay. I thought you were talking about like original Final Fantasy canon kind of thing.
No.
Because I do believe that's implied to be same continuity for the most part, just like in a completely different eras of time.
Oh no, I think that all Final Fantasy games are like completely disconnected.
I disagree. I'm pretty sure. Like, I could be wrong. Maybe there's some official material out there that talks about this, but I'm pretty convinced that they're just like wildly separate in time era.
Russell,
Ian,
what is your favorite Final Fantasy?
my favorite Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I mean, 7's the most popular and obvious one, and those are the characters I like the most. But shoot, I'm not a big fan of 8, and I'll be totally honest and admit that I have not played like the classic Final Fantasy games.
Mm-hmm.
Which Final Fantasy has the black mage, the the guy that's like he has like a blue cloak and he has like yellow eyes, but like there's not like a body to him. It's like all darkness underneath.
That would be Kingdom Hearts.
No. Shut up.
You were describing every fucking Kingdom Hearts character right now.
That's a darkness. But no, the black mage is like a cute little. They look like Jawas, but like
Vivi.
in fantasy. Vivi,
Vivi.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which
that's
one's
Kingdom
Vivi
Hearts.
from?
Not Kingdom Hearts 9, Final Fantasy 9, but he's in Kingdom Hearts 2 if that entices you to play it.
I absolutely not. But that makes Final Fantasy 9 my favorite, even though I've never actually played Final Fantasy 9. But Vivi is like one of my favorite designs ever.
He is a very adorable design. But
I love him so much.
You have to admit he's basically just a Heartless.
But before Heartless, so Heartless are basically just Vivi. So, shut up.
Let's stop talking about this.
You know,
right. You want to know what my favorite Final Fantasy game is?
What is it?
The World Ends With You.
Shut up. We're not starting this. No.
I actually discovered that there is a there was like the era of Final Fantasy VII spin-off games.
Yes.
And
the Final Fantasy VII collection.
Yeah, so we got Dirge of Cerberus, which is the coolest name for anything ever.
Shut up.
What? That name isn't fantastic.
We're not talking about Dirge of Cerberus. Move on.
There was Advent Children was a part of it. Crisis Core.
Crisis Core is a great game.
And then I found out that there was a mobile phone game. Then Japanese folks like their mobile phone games.
Yeah, sure.
That was about the Turks in like a before Final Fantasy VII era events.
Before Crisis.
Yeah. And that one, like the character designs and art were all by the World Ends With You guy, who I would love to have drawn some World Ends With You for this, but it wasn't a childhood game, it was a teenage years game. God, I want one of these Organization 13 hoodies, robes so bad.
Weren't you talking about how you were like really tempted to get a bunch for the group of friends?
I was passing a Hot Topic, and I saw some right inside the door, and I was like, these are all on clearance. It would be super funny if I got one for everybody, but like guilt tripped everyone into wearing it, and only 2 of us would actually wear them. Like,
yeah, I would absolutely never.
Everybody
wear that
else
again.
would like snap all the chain shit off and just wear it as a normal black hoodie, probably.
Yeah.
But I would like and not one of the like rubber ones that you see like, you know those like cosplay like pictures of like cosplay outfits where they're hanging on mannequins and like they look really there's like the picture of the character in them, and then there's the really unappealing looking like picture of the costume next to it that's like very square and not as like thin and perfectly framed as the character is.
Yes.
And it just like hangs off the mannequin all ugly. Like, I don't want one of the rubber ones that you would see in something like one of those. I want like an actual like dark heavy cloth one like in the games.
I don't know how widely known it is, but Resident Evil 4...
Tell me.
Okay, chill. But Devil May Cry, the first Devil May Cry, was
featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Yes, featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Good meme. Was originally going to be Resident Evil 4.
Oh, really?
Yes. So Resident Evil 4 was going to be like a massive shift in like direction. That's the word I was looking for. And eventually they realized like this is like a bit too much of a change. But like they took what they were working on and just turned it into Devil May Cry with an entirely different story.
Okay.
And then Resident Evil 4 itself went through a few more iterations. And actually, some previous stuff like worked with like ghosts and stuff a bit more, until eventually settled on the Resident Evil 4 we know today, which handles like the Los Plagas. It's kind of more in line with Resident Evil's quote unquote realistic biological horror. But now with the rumors about Resident Evil 8. There are some people suggesting that it might go into like that supernatural stuff a bit more, which I'm totally down for.
I really like the idea of Resident Evil 7, where it was straight up just like these residents are evil.
Yeah.
like I like that it wasn't some like I'm not too big into like those games, not because I'm scared or anything, but Baka. Just because like it's really not my style. I'm not a shooter type person, but like seeing that versus like operatives going in to take out bio zombies or whatever versus like this is a creepy southern bayou family that does weird creepy shit out in the bayou. Like, I think that's a very refreshing, different direction from what I've seen the rest of the series doing.
Well, that's funny because that's very, like, it's spiritually resurrecting what the first 3 games were about, for the most part. Because Resident Evil started out... I know the first
one was in a mansion.
Yeah, the first one, the first few Resident Evil games are legitimate, like, horror games, like survival horror, like... difficult controls to like move around zombies. Like you have to be very mindful of your resources, and that was scary, especially with Resident Evil 1 being a very like I don't want to say cliche, but like tropey kind of like haunted mansion kind of setup.
Yeah.
And it was horrific, especially during the time when like zombies as a concept were getting more popular and were like much more visceral in like our brains compared to now. I feel like people have kind of calmed down over zombies.
Oh, thank God they have. We had a friend back in high school who was just zombies all the time.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I'm probably done with this Roxas. I was drawing Roxas because he's like we said earlier with the design looking thing. He's just the most visually aesthetic one of the characters to look at, and all the character artwork is absolutely gorgeous except for Kairi. But I think this particular emo boy outshines the rest. I mean, like, when I watch that parking lot fight, my eyes are glued to the guy playing Roxas just because I know that he's playing a damn good design.
Okay.
You've seen the parking lot fight, right?
The parking lot fight? I can't say I have.
Oh, my God. I guarantee you have. You must have. It's this hilarious...
Oh, it's like 2 dudes... Like, what was it? Like, they were trying to, like, reenact, like, a fight from Kingdom Hearts?
No, they're actively just making shit up.
But they have, like, Keyblades, or...?
Yeah, well, they have foam bats or whatever, and it's hilarious, because Sora and Roxas are never... Like, they meet up once in the game, and they're never, like, really adversarial to each other. They are, because they fight the one time that they meet, but, like, afterwards, Roxas gladly goes back to Sora, because he's part of them. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But like, in the parking lot fight, this kid like runs down a slope and he's supposed to be Sora, and he's like, Roxas, what'd you do with Kairi? And it like pans over to the kid playing Roxas, and he's like, she's part of the darkness now. It's just the dumbest shit. And like they're swinging and making a bunch of like the repeated action sounds that the characters in the game make, and at one point Sora yells like dual wield, and he grabs another foam bat off the ground, and then you can hear the camera guy being like, dude, watch the camera, when they're getting too close. Like, he could have just stayed quiet and moved away, but like he just ruined the shot for it. And they do like their own slow-mo, and it's just like it's just the cringiest thing in the world, but it's beautiful and I love it.
Yeah, you say that's cringy and all that, and it is, right? But like, I miss doing stuff like that.
Oh,
when
sure.
I was younger. It's like, I miss having like that innocence of just like not caring. Like nowadays, if I did something like that and there was footage of it, I would want to eat my hand or something and just ball up in a corner and die. But like in the moment, you're having the time of your life.
Yeah.
And I kind of miss having that feeling.
I do agree. And you know, I've done my fair share of cringy stuff when I was younger.
Sure.
I guarantee you have.
Oh yeah, I mean,
speaking of Kingdom Hearts, there's actually I did several episodes of a Kingdom Hearts 2 Let's Play when I was back.
Yeah, I remember this.
It was really, really bad, and
you were like, "Hey,
had...
can you check it out and like maybe subscribe?" And
did I?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
And I even checked it out, and it was just like so like. If I recall correctly, you use like your camera phone to like point it at the screen, right?
No, I just used a camera and I put it on a tripod, and I just sat behind it and had to like angle my neck around it to actually see the screen.
Oh, I mean, shoot, even that's better than a camera phone, so props on that. But like, I just remember like your voice is just like the most like dull, like uninterested, like you don't know what to say, so just like long silence, and you're just like.
I cribbed a few jokes from other people that I'd seen on YouTube, which yeah. But like one of the one thing that has stuck with me through it the most, like just in memory, is I like Roxas made like a really pained face when something happened, and I was like, oh, is that his orgasm face? Like I like was super committed when I was first about to say it, and then I was like, am I allowed to say this on like the internet? And so it just came out super like mumbly, and like I didn't want to say it, and I was just like, oh my god. Nice.
I just want to say real quick, I gotta get this out there. My Rayman looks like sin.
My Roxas has a short gimp leg.
Why did I agree to draw this character without any like prior practice? Like, I do not know what I'm doing with Rayman.
I'm gonna draw Rayman really fast.
By all means, dude. Like, shit, man, this looks horrible.
I guarantee mine's actually gonna look better.
Why did I? Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, because like you commit to doing weird stuff, and I'm just trying to draw Rayman, but like I am not familiar with like drawing this kind of style. Like, I should have just went for another like humanoid character that I can just animize, because that's all I know how to do.
Hey, look at that. It's perfect.
Animize. That's a word I said.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look up a reference for fucking Pajama Sam. Okay, so Pajama Sam was another. I feel like this one deserves a little bit of explanation, because I doubt a lot of people know of good old PJ Sam. Mm-hmm. He was a character from the Humongous Entertainment series of oh my god, I hate his hair so much. Of games. They were actually the company Humongous Entertainment was made by Ron Gilbert, the guy who did the Monkey Island series, and how am I gonna fucking draw this? He is this young boy who his favorite superhero is Pajama Man, who is a comic book character that wears pajamas and fights evil. So he, in all of his whatevers, mimics his favorite hero, and in the first game, in all the games, he like is conquering some like issue kids would face up against. So the first game is him versus darkness, where he goes into his closet, into the world of darkness, and fights. He eventually meets up with darkness to fight him, but it turns out they're cool, and they just play Parcheesi together. And so he learns that darkness is a cool guy and that there's nothing to be afraid of. And then the second game is Thunder and Lightning Aren't So Frightening, where he goes up to worldwide weather, where he meets Thunder and Lightning, who are actually really cool, just like Darkness was. But he falls on a big red button that breaks all the weather in the world, because of course he does, because Sam is a little shit.
Sure.
And so he has to go around and fix the parts before Mother Nature shows up and fires everyone. And then the third game isn't really him tackling a fear. It's him going to a world. It's an island that mimics the human body, and all the inhabitants are food. And it's actually the first one I had, and so it's the one I actually like the most. And it's all of the games have like really really good atmosphere. Oh, God, I'm so bad at drawing like more cartoony shit. So the third one is he goes to an island where all the inhabitants are food, and he has to get all of the delegates together. Oh, God, this is so bad. Holy shit.
How do you think I feel? I'm suffering over here with Rayman. I almost said Mega Man.
I need to go over this with thick lines. He looks really weird with thin lines.
I should have just drawn Mega Man. I really should have.
So in that one, he has to get all these food delegates together for a big conference where they all realize that a healthy diet needs all kinds of foods. But they have bumpin' music, they have great characters, they have great like environments and stuff. Like the first two games are like really cool. The first one takes place completely at night in like this dark world. The second one, like you're up in the sky jumping from like machine parts to machine parts. The third one is like a constant twilight on this island that like is designed to look like a human body, but it's so cool. And oh my God, I drew this too big. I was always really jealous because I had two friends named Sam growing up, and I was always like, God damn it, why did it have to be? Not only is Sam a cool name, my favorite video game character is named Sam, and so I showed it to both of them, and we would like play it, and so I'd just have to be like, I'm Pajama Ian. but they would be Pajama Sam, so it's like, yeah, they're the main character. That's how it is.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Not a lot of characters are named Ian, it turns out.
Yeah, no, not a really cool name, is it?
No. Don't
worry, Russell isn't a cool name either. I don't think I know
Russell's
of a single...
super cool. Your name is so cool. Russell Stroud reporting for duty. What's some other video games we can talk about? Yeah, we actually didn't talk that much about fighting games in the last one. I just kind of used it as a device to dunk on Smash Bros.
Well, that's just because you're an asshole.
Well, yeah. In fact, like listening back through it, it seemed like you were actually going to say something about the kind of fighting games you liked. So, why don't you go ahead and talk about that now?
I do remember we kind of got on a bit of a tangent there and never got to really talk about it. But no, I've always been like a Guilty Gear guy. Really, like anything that Arc System Works puts out, I usually love. So I've been playing a lot of Dragon Ball FighterZ lately. But in terms of like fighting games I grew up with, definitely stuff like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, stuff like that. Anything Capcom is what I grew up loving. And it's a shame that Capcom hasn't really put out anything good in that regard lately. Street Fighter V is alright, but I mean, whatever. And then Marvel Infinite has amazing gameplay. I love Marvel Infinite's gameplay. It's just a goddamn shame that it died so quickly because of all the stuff around it.
I loved watching that trash fire.
Dude, it depresses me because for so long I was hoping, begging for a Marvel 4. And then we technically finally got it with like the Infinite reveal, and it opens up with Mega Man X, and I'm losing my goddamn mind.
Yep.
I'm like, my god, X and Zero will be in the same fighting game. I can have a team of X and Zero, and I was so excited, and then the game died.
Russell,
What's up?
Rabbids are no different from Minions.
Dude, now this is a hill I will die on. Rabbids are great.
I think that they were great, and I think Minions were great in like the first Despicable Me movie.
Minions
but
were
I
never
think
great.
Minions were perfectly fine in the first movie. They were
They were.
very inoffensive. They were just for background chuckles, but they didn't interrupt any of the main story until the second movie.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But
And that's
also,
exactly
I hate
how
Minions.
Rabbids were.
No, Rabbids are great.
Rabbids got ruined after the first game.
No, I still love Rabbids to this day.
Well,
I think they're very charming. I think they have very unique personalities. I like that they're just because like their independent games are not good by any means, but like I love like their like whole situation of like they're just like little gremlins that just fuck with people, not out of like any inherently malicious intent, but because they just have no concept of the world around them. At least that's what it feels like to me. And it's just funny. It's just funny having like uncontrollable little guys like that. Whereas with the minions, like, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I can like really word how the minions are different to the point that justifies me disliking them. But there's just something about them that isn't charming.
No difference.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I know you were gonna say that, but I'm just saying
really,
like, go ahead.
Like not even in an attempt to like tick you off or anything. I really don't think I see that. I think in the if we're looking at like the first movie and not when they just became like a screaming tagline, both of them. Like I think that they were very endearing in their own right. Like all of them had, unlike the rabbits, all of them had like slightly different designs. I don't think that they're unless you like factor in like very very far background ones. I think every one of them had a like slightly different tweak to their design. Like they had the same sort of like just general like, oh, it's kind of a one trick pony. It's cute and funny, but it doesn't get in the way of like the game or the movie in Despicable Me's case, until like the second one came out and they realized that people cared more about the Minions or the Rabbids than they did Gru or Raymond.
But I don't know, I feel like there's like a bit more of like a genuine charm behind the Rabbids, and again, it's like it's impossible for me to really put into words. The Minions just don't have the charm to me. Like they're not amusing.
I actually thought that they were very charming when I first saw the movie.
Sure, like as you said, like even in the first Despicable Me, they're inoffensive by any means. Like they don't get in the way. They're just there for laughs. But I don't know. It just wasn't funny to me. I didn't particularly like Despicable Me in general, admittedly. But there's something about the Minions' personalities where I feel like it's like... I think what it is that the Minions are good people. It's just that they live in a society where villainy is normal. Like, that's the cartoony law of the land. But the Minions are good people. They just listen to Gru or whoever. And so they're like little innocent little creatures who are just doing what they can. Whereas I like the Rabbids because they're just the most chaotic, evil, like chaotic neutral, I would say. Just like they don't care what's in their way. They're just doing whatever. And like that gives so much freedom to like whatever context. Like the crossover game with Rabbids and Mario, like that strategy game. I'm not a big strategy game kind of guy, so like the gameplay itself didn't really carry me, but I adored the interactions because like the Rabbids were just that funny to me.
Yeah, but I feel like that's I don't know if that one should be counted. Like in 10 years when like that's about when the Rabbids games were like big, was about 10 years ago. Like I would say that looking at it from back then, you know, from that perspective of that time era, I think that they would have been a lot more infuriating, kind of like the Minions have been in modern kind of times. You know, like all of the Minion shit is just so pervasive, and there's memes of them and then memes about the memes of them, and it's just like, you know, kids adored them for the longest time. So I feel like that pain is a lot fresher in our minds. I'm sure if you compared like the feelings on them of the era when they were at their most like invasive in the culture, it would be like a lot more comparable than it feels today. Like I don't have a lot of the same animosity towards Rabbids I did once I realized that it was going to be like a thing that wasn't going to end anytime soon. Like I certainly don't have any of that like right now. And even I think a lot of the Minions like negative energy is kind of dying off. Like kids are getting to the point where they're past interested in that, and like it's kind of just the remnants of like memes of moms sharing Facebook meme, you know. So maybe we're gonna be coming up on a time where it's a bit easier to compare the two of them. But I think a lot of it you just kind of have to put yourself in the proper era to think about it.
That's definitely fair. I think that's perfectly valid. But I'm gonna die on my throne and say fuck Minions. But like I get what you're saying. I think that's actually pretty spot on.
All right. Well, I think I finished my drawings. Have you rounded out your Raymond?
Yeah, all right, I've actually finished. That's right. We had to make them separate images, right?
Yeah. Let's export them to the desktop, and then we will do reactions in just a minute. All right. I got my first one ready.
Okay. What are we starting with?
Okay, so my first one is Guybrush Threepwood here.
Okay.
Mighty Pirate.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah.
I thought he looked a lot dorkier. Maybe that's your art style, but I remember him looking very goofy from what little I've seen.
Yes. The third game had a very stylized look to it. So he does look a lot goofier in that one. He like has a much flatter face, and it's weird. He kind of like alternates what style he's dressed in. So like he has a very simple like kind of curly hair and a white shirt in Monkey 1. Then Monkey 2, he has like a very elaborate like captain's jacket. He has a beard. He looks a lot nicer. Then Monkey 3, he's like devolved back to just curly hair and like a white shirt. Then Monkey 4, he's got like the short white hair and no beard again. Oh, Monkey 3 didn't have a beard. 4, he doesn't have a beard, but he has the captain's thing. And then 5, he looks exactly like he did in Monkey 2. So like his look changes a lot over the course of the series.
I see. Okay.
And he gets a weird cursed voodoo hand that fucks with you all game in Monkey 5.
Okay.
Monkey 5 sucks ass, dude.
Does it really?
It doesn't totally, but it's definitely the worst one. It's worse than the really bad, like, 4 was on the cusp of 3D in games, and it's when every game was making, like, the 3D transition, and it was really bad and hard to control.
It was on the cusp of greatness. We were so close.
It would have been a great game, I think, if it hadn't been in the really crappy 3D style.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's see your first one.
Okay, I guess I'll start with Heather. Admittedly, I think this is my weakest one, even weaker than Rayman.
No,
it's
she looks good.
Yeah, thank you. It's just like sad anime girl. Like, so I want to do it more justice at some other point, but yeah, I've always really liked Heather's design. Interestingly enough, I think this is my first time actually drawing her.
Mm-hmm. But I love her. I hate to say this, and you're probably gonna groan and be like, "Oh, you're right. Yeah. You're right." When I say this,
What's up?
She looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh side character.
Yeah, I totally see it.
It's in the eyes and the bangs right there. And
that's fair.
A bit in the outfit.
I definitely took some stylistic approach to the hair, admittedly.
I do like how she looks, though. I do think it's a good drawing. I don't think it's nearly as bad. Oh, no, you know what she looks like?
Huh?
She looks like a female version of this character.
Fuck you. Fuck you. God, why is it you have to ruin everything I like with Kingdom Hearts?
It's salty.
That's a lovely drawing, though. Is he eating his freaking sea salt fish ice cream, whatever it is?
It's just sea salt ice cream, thank you very much.
That's like the one like major component I remember from what little I played of, what was it, the dumbest name ever, 358/2/half man days squared.
Wow, you actually got it. I didn't think you would get the squared. I was gonna give you like 90%. You actually got that title perfectly. I wasn't You usually like make just a joke name every time you say it, but you actually got it right that time.
Yeah, and then there was the remake 358/2 days, fuck my ass, squared, piece of shit, birthed by something, dream, distant, suck, dick.
Russell, are you a secret fan?
Yeah,
Holy
dude,
crap.
I'm a big expert of the Kingdom Hearts.
Russell, how does time travel work in Kingdom Hearts?
Um,
I
it
want you to take a
doesn't.
guess. No,
It doesn't.
there is time travel. I want you to tell me how you would guess it works.
Okay, so there are three possibilities. There's
Yes.
either A, the Back to the Future logic, where it's like there's a line and then there's a tangent of a line that I think can converge to ruin the previous line.
Sure.
And then there's Dragon Ball logic, where once you make a change in the past, it creates an entirely new universe that doesn't affect the universe that you're in.
Also known as a Avengers Endgame.
No, shut up. Oh yeah, that is how it worked, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Anyway, what's the third option?
The third one was that it's like a weird like convergence thing where every change applies into one universe kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. What is it?
Well, no, it's that an old man found out how to do time travel and that you can send your heart back in time, but there has to be another version of your heart at the time you go back to. So he goes back in time, teaches his young self how to do time travel. His young self, and he tells him of his like grand goal of really bad writing. And then his young self goes throughout time to different points where he existed and recruits different versions of himself and teaches them to time travel so that all of them can time travel to the point at the end so that they can have the final confrontation.
Okay.
So
That's
it really
stupid.
is just the worst time travel.
That's stupid.
Hey, that's pretty good.
It's all right. Starting out, it was like very cursed looking, without
Kind
a
of looks
doubt.
like he's about to shiv me, but
Yeah, I mean that's just Rayman though. So I really captured that aspect of his character, without a doubt.
I think my 30-second Rayman is just as good.
Is that the Noid?
No, that's Rayman.
It makes me think of freaking, was it Pizza Hut I think that did it, or Domino's?
Domino's, stupid.
Domino's.
You gotta
Domino's
avoid
Pizza.
the Noid, stupid.
Yeah, avoid the Noid. It looks like the Noid.
Dude, we
Honestly,
should
a
draw-
lot of your art makes me think of like Noid stuff. I feel like I brought that up before.
Dude, I love the Noid. I love the Noid's design so much. I want to draw. Okay,
It's
next
so
time
bad,
we're
I love
definitely
it.
drawing 90s food mascots.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then here's my Pajama Sam.
Okay.
He is so weird, and I can like that is one of the worst drawings I've probably ever made.
Yeah, I can
Like
kind of see what you're
in modern
getting at.
times.
The way his body is layered on top of each other doesn't exactly work, but like I can see what you're going for.
I definitely gave up by the time his feet came around. Like you can look up a picture of him yourself, and like it looks way better. I
Is he
just
giving
have
me
a
the
really
bird?
hard. Yeah, super hard.
See, I was saying that to make fun of you, just like be lighthearted, because I was like, there's no, obviously he's not. I'm sure he's pointing to the sky heroically.
Yeah.
But no, he's just straight up giving the bird.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be you suffering at your tablet?
Yes.
Nice.
I'm just really not good with cartoon proportions. And he's a very he's a thick line character, so like he does not translate well into thin line drawings. I find it weird how that works. You know, like you can't draw a thin line Powerpuff Girl and have it look right, or like, you know, you could draw a thick line Finn and Jake or something like that, or a thick line Rick and Morty, and it's gonna work. But you cannot draw a thick line character thin.
It is very difficult because it's like with adding thick lines to a normally thin line character, like that's stylistic adding on. There's a lot of like interpretation you can do with that, but like when you're like making the lines thin, it's like removing a part of the design at its core.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something very unique about like the thick lines of like Powerpuff Girls, like you were saying. Like if you would have to commit to stylistically changing a lot in order to make that look natural.
All right. So are we good here? Are we?
I don't believe I've shared my Leon yet, so.
Oh right, Leon. I totally skipped him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, not a problem.
right,
I
we're
wasn't
just
gonna
gonna
say
do this part out
anything
of
when you
order.
just moved on to Rayman, and then you're a little blue boy.
Pajama
But here's Leon.
Oh, dude, he looks sick.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever. Just drawing sad anime girl and an edgy anime boy, but
He
yeah,
was
what
a
else?
boy, she was a girl. Can I make it any more obvious?
But yeah, there he is with his awesome badass leather jacket that he takes off like too early into the game, and then it's just not there ever again, which is a shame.
Oh, that is a damn shame.
Yeah,
But
and then he
but
still looks
he's got
badass.
he's got the cool like skin tight black.
Hell yeah, dude! He's so
spandex
much
shirt,
badass with that
and
shit.
it has the neck collar.
Yeah, dude.
That's how you know that a guy is a big dick.
I have realized that like stuff like Leon here like have absolutely molded my like tendencies with character design, because I love that neck like hugging collar bit. I love that so much. I'm a horrible person about overusing that. But yeah,
Russell,
and
he is. You should wear one of those shirts.
Absolutely not. I would not
You
look
should
good
throw
in
out
it.
all your other shirts and just wear those.
I would look horrible. I would have to like get ripped before I could do that, or else I would look absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you know
no,
who you look like? You look like the guy that plays the boss on the British Office.
The British Office. I have not seen that. So I feel like you're trying to make like a funny haha that would make me go like, no, Leon's cool, shut up. But like I have no frame of reference.
You look like him.
What?
Yeah,
How dare you? I don't even know what he looks like, so why am I?
Yeah, you don't know what he looks like. All right. Well, I think both of us are pretty done for today. So
yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah. I hope this was another little insight into the kooky little world that is Ian and Russell's little past and our histories and the magic and mystery that composes that history. Gummy berry juice. All right. So join us next time on Artistically. Join us next time on Artistically Declined, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more fun. Say bye-bye, Russell.
Bye-bye.
Russell. Say bye-bye, Russell.
Bye-bye.
Okay, good enough. Da 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 da
You're doing Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Okay.